Marvelous Mrs.
Good morning, or whatever time of day it is. We are glad you are listening in. Welcome to Wake Up and Dream. We are here with I'm here with Kelly and Sarah, and we are excited to share with you some real live examples of mind shifting. And it honestly, how I would describe it is Sarah went from a mindset focus to a heart set focus. And I think that was the biggest pivot that Kelly and I have seen is the rat race of the mind. As soon as it goes to the heart, everything just falls into place. And so, Sarah, fill in the gaps, catch us up on what exciting things are going on inside your house right now.
So that is so interesting that you said the shift from mindset to heart set, because even as I'm living this process, I didn't go there, oddly enough. But it's spot on. Like, I really love that you chose those words. I hope that there's not too much background noise because there's a landscaper right outside my window of my neighbor's house. So apologies if there's a little bit of noise. But so this is all coming from in April, I was on the struggle bus, and I'm so thankful for Lisa and Kelly to help me through that phase. And I'm kind of almost on the other side. I am traveling this coming week, so by the time this airs, I will have already been there and back, and I will share my experience then. But I've been struggling a bit because my husband and I had decided 10 years ago when we got married that on the 10-year anniversary, we would go back to Italy. Our wedding was in Italy, and we wanted to go back to celebrate that huge milestone. Fast forward 10 years, we have 2 children, and traveling overseas is not as simple as it used to be. Jared and I used to travel all the time. We have a map, and we have pins in the map, and we have our destinations that we still haven't gone to that are on our list. And it just is way more complicated in my mind now than it used to be. So in April, was struggling so much with just guilt, mom guilt, stress, the what ifs. And, if you listen to a bunch of the podcasts that we recorded back in April and beginning of May, it was all about release and surrender. And it was such a perfect topic for me because it really helped me through this period of time where it was like, we're going on this trip. We are prioritizing our marriage, and I need to release the control. I can't hold on to the steering wheel with, are my kids going to get to school on time? If they're late, they're late. Are my kids going to miss the bus? Are they going to have their lunch or whatever? All the things that I was going through, I had to just release. And those podcast episodes, I don't think I really spoke on many of them, but I was just absorbing. And it's funny because over the weekend, as I'm preparing for this trip on Friday, I actually re-listened to 2 of them because they were just so helpful in the words that Lisa and Kelly used for me. So I hope that you guys found them hopeful as well, or helpful as well. And if you haven't listened to them, go back. The release and surrender episodes are awesome. So a couple of things that I used in preparing for this trip and shifting from a mindset to a heart set is journaling. This was also a Kelly and Lisa recommendation. And I'm going to be straight up. I don't know about you gals, but journaling, I love to journal, but I'm not a very good journaler. And what I mean by that is, like, I'll write like one sentence and like that'll be it. But I'll just look at that one sentence. And it's not something that, like, I don't like write pages upon pages upon pages. But when I spoke with Lisa and Kelly about this trip, they asked a very, very important question that I was able to kind of mull over while I was in this journaling headspace, even though the pages weren't getting filled. And it was, what do I want May to look like? So now we're in April and we're having this discussion, and it was all about, what do I want May to look like? It wasn't like my trip. It wasn't, all the things. I wasn't getting wrapped up in the details. It was just like, how does May feel for you? What's going on in May? And it made me think a lot about, the anticipation of traveling always, even without kids, always kind of, there was that mix of excitement versus like nervousness about traveling and like the unknown. And I made a decision with that question to keep it exciting, keep May exciting for me and for the kids. Exciting. The nervous anticipation was not how I wanted my May to look. And obviously, things ebb and flow. There were definitely periods of time where I broke down, but I kept that thought process about how is May going to look for me? How is it going to look for my kids? And excitement was the word that came to mind. So like that, like you guys probably don't even realize these little tidbits that you like, these seeds you planted in April, how they ended up manifesting in my day to day. But like that was huge for me. It's like even when I got down into this period of like the what ifs, I brought myself back and I was like, how am I making this exciting? Where is the excitement in this? Like that is what my May is about.
Ew, Sarah, I love that. I love how you picked a word like that. We
Yep.
talked about that too at the beginning of the new year. Was it's instead of a New Year's resolution, it's always more powerful to pick a word so that every situation you're ever brought to throughout the year, you remember your word. And so you went back to this, which I didn't know. This is new. You kept this in your back pocket, but that you picked a word so that when you did get sad or overwhelmed or panicky or all the things, how am I making this exciting for you, your husband, the boys? I think that is just genius because I go back to what you previously said and you just kind of skimmed it, but you said, because I want to keep my marriage a priority. And that
Mm-hmm.
is so important. I just felt this sense of like warmth for you and excitement, but that your heart is where it needs to be. The boys are super important, but women that are listening, so is your marriage. If mom and dad aren't healthy, like it is so important to do all that you can. And you kept that promise to yourselves. Like nothing is going to stand in your way. It is your 10-year anniversary. You're going to make it happen. You're going to make it exciting. I love where you went with your heart space and also knowing that when you're journaling, that it's okay that one sentence came out and that's it. And you just sort of, got quiet about that and started seeing what your May was going to look like. I think that is so, so powerful. And that word it's a really great reminder that on any situation, if you're changing jobs or we're moving or whatever, like pick a word for this situation that you're embarking on for the month or the weeks to just keep you going. I love, love, love that.
Yes, and not just a word, but I think a word that evokes emotion. That was the key. I mean, you could have picked priority, right? Your marriage being a priority. So you could have picked the word priority. Not that you would have, but the fact that you picked excitement, that went right to your emotions. It kept you in your heart. It kept you out of your head where the worry, the overwhelm, the panic, all the to-dos live. And when you went back to your heart, it was all about how can I make this exciting for the boys, exciting for me, take the worry and anxiety out of it and make that my focus. I love that.
And it's so cool because it definitely shifted everything, really having that word, because then I started thinking like we didn't have an itinerary planned. We didn't even have flights. Like everything was up in the air. And it was May, and I still wanted to make excitement that word and just make that a priority. And I instead of like stressing about, oh my God, we need to fix our flights. We're all messed up. We have to fix our flights and rebook. We need to have an itinerary. We don't even have anything booked in terms, we had hotels. We didn't have like tours or where are we going when we get there. Nothing was booked in May. But what that word allowed me to do for both our trip and my kids' trip is plan it as a unit. So I was thinking about it like my kids, I want them to be on this journey with us. So I'm writing from, I mean, I'll get into what I'm doing in a little bit, but I'm writing about like our itinerary and for the kids so they can actually be there with us. And that actually made me more excited to plan it. So instead of like just me and Jared planning in a silo in May, I was able to plan with thinking about like, oh, what can I tell my kids about this? And it made it just way more exciting than just like, okay, let's just check this off the list. We got to go here and here while we're in Florence and here while we're, in Naples and Sorrento. It just was a way different approach. So it was cool. I will say though that even, it's never always rainbows and butterflies. There's things, emotions come in. Emotions are meant to be felt. I was very intentional about allowing those emotions. This is a big, big thing that we're doing. But I would go back to my journal. And even though I didn't have much written, those couple of sentences that I did write about how I wanted May to look and the excitement around it kept me grounded. But then I also wrote one other thing that I always went back to. And that is, I have it right in front of me. My two lines from my journaling in May is independence is learned by experience. And that kind of gave me the perspective shift that I'm doing this for my kids. That, what you think about it, like as parents, eventually the kids start packing their own book bags for school, or they start packing their own snacks and they go to bed with a little guidance because you're kind of prepping them for this. And my kids, their routines will not shift while we are away. My mom will be staying at our house and they're going to be doing those same things, but they're going to be showing Mimi how it's done. They are going to have this like independence where they are kind of in charge, and they're excited about that. And that's a gift I'm giving to them by taking this trip, is that they are able to kind of spread their wings a little bit more while still not leaving the nest, because, they're only 7. But they're just keeping that in my mind when I did come up with like, should I be leaving? Why am I leaving my kid? I'd be like, no, independence is an experience. It's learned by experience. They need this. I need this. And we are all growing through this experience. So it was another thing between the excitement, keeping the excitement at an all-time high throughout May. And then when I did dip down, like, leverage that fact that like, this is a gift for my children. That was another thing that kept me tethered through this month.
Whoa, gift to your children. That is so amazing. Because I know a lot of moms have anxiety about and worry about leaving their kiddos, especially on a trip halfway around the world. It's not like you're just heading down to Florida for a few days and you could be back in a flash. It is a thing. But I love how you're putting these into perspective. And this isn't just a vacation for you guys to get the heck out of town, right? Like you're also involving the kids and making this a fun experience for them, making it exciting and giving them that responsibility. Like even at 7, kids love the routine. They love to be trusted with those skills that you've taught them. And then they're just going to be so excited teaching all the things to Mimi and journaling and drawing you pictures and calling you and FaceTiming you and Jared, and just they're gonna have just as much fun as you guys, if not more, I bet. And that's
for sure.
Then that's where your mama heart can just, be at ease, because your mom is there. You've planned all the things and they feel your love all day, every day. And they know that you've included them in this experience. And that I think is such a key feeling for them, instead of mom and dad are out of here, we need a break, it's so cool for them too. I'm so proud of you, Sara, to see this transformation and this, like Lisa was saying, you were stuck in your mind for so long, and the to-dos and the, oh my gosh, should I be doing this, to the heart set and the excitement. And this is going to be an amazing experience for all of you. So cool. And even your mom, right? Like such a cool time for her and memories that she's going to create with your boys. I think putting your heart there, that it's not just you guys, it's everybody, is just, I think that's so great. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been a journey to get to this point, but it's just thinking back to April versus now, it's a completely different conversation I'm able to have. And that's thanks to you ladies. Like I wouldn't have gotten to this point without those episodes we recorded on release and surrender, and just allowing, and our off air chats on just how you guys were helping support me through this. Like it's been difficult, but it was difficult to get to this point, but now I'm here and we're leaving in 2 days and I don't have those feelings. I mean, I do have a lot of to-dos because, I'm in it right now, but it's more fun stuff. So like one of the things, do you want me to tell you a little bit about how I'm kind of keeping my kids involved while I'm
I
away?
was hoping.
Okay. So I did get them journals. I don't know if they'll actually end up writing in them, drawing pictures, whatever. But I wrote a note in each of their journals just about like, this is to share your day and whatever, so that they have the space if they wanted to write or draw while we're gone. One of the things that Jared and I are doing is we have penguins all over our house. And actually, when we were pregnant with the twins, my mom also got us like 2 little twin penguins. Like, so they were like, when I was in the hospital for a while, I had these 2 penguins with us. So we're all about stuffed penguins in our house. So we actually are bringing a penguin with us on our trip, and we will be taking pictures of this penguin throughout our whole itinerary. So thinking, we might look crazy, but it's okay. I am all about that title. And so throughout our entire trip, we'll be taking pictures, and I have email addresses set up for my boys as well. I've set that up as when they were babies, so I can email them little like things that I was thinking about them, or pictures or memories to their email addresses. We can talk about that in a whole nother episode. But I will be emailing them pictures of this penguin and the penguin's journey and experience as he's with us. So they'll have that kind of to keep them excited about what we're doing. So obviously my kids aren't going to be necessarily excited about like Tuscan wineries, but they'll be excited to see a penguin in like a field of grapes and so it'll be a really cool experience. And then with that, I also have, it's almost, my mom calls it like an advent calendar. It's a countdown calendar where I'm going to fill little cups. So I have one here. For those of you on YouTube, you'll see it, but I'm going to make a board of these cups. They'll punch through the tissue paper, and there'll be like a little note and a little like, either treat or toy in each of them. So the note will be a little bit about what the penguin is doing that day. One day I am starting to write the notes. I'm leaving in 2 days, and I didn't even finish this project yet. But there's no stress around this project because it's exciting for me to be doing this for them. They'll probably end up like throwing them in the garbage, who knows? But for me, it's exciting and therapeutic to be doing this craft for them. But like one of the notes is just about like gelato, and like gelato is Italian ice cream. And why don't you go get ice cream with Mimi today? Like things like that. To kind of connect the experiences that we're having. So it's going to be each day is going to have a different little like, toy and note. And that's going to kind of bridge this, bridge the experiences, because you're right, they're going to have an amazing experience as well. So
I just have a sense of this like this travel mama blog happening for you, because you always have so many like amazing ideas. It's almost like taking Pinterest to like a whole new level, because just having you as this like personal mama guide with all these wonderful, amazing ideas for the boys. I'm just like, I want to plan a trip so I can do all these things for Jace.
I know. I'm hoping that my kids it's well received, because I feel like sometimes I plan these things for like their birthdays or this and that, and I'm so excited about like my Pinterest worthy like project, and they're like more excited about like the tissue paper. So who knows how it's going to go, but.
Right. And then Sarah, you're just going to have to remind yourself of that release and surrender episode, yes. Right? Like release their experience is their experience, and you did your part, and that's all that matters.
I do think that they'll be like, I think they're going to be excited about the little notes and things that we're leaving them too. And I was debating on either having just one, like for Advent, we share one calendar and they alternate even in odd days. This, because it's a shorter period of time, I am making 2. So they each have their own. And then they can also take the notes to school with them. So like if they wanted to share their experience with their teachers or their classmates, they'll be able to do that too. So I was intentional with that, because I think that it would be something that they're going to like be like, oh, look at this is so cool. But if they're not, it's serving purposes beyond just their initial reaction when they open it. Plus there's some Legos in there and like a new bookmark. They'll be excited.
They'll love it, and they'll feel the love and the genuineness from you as a mom, and just they'll be excited. They're boys, they're punching the tissue paper, they'll love it. It'll be exciting.
Yes.
And especially just to see those pictures of your penguin, and they'll have penguin? Did you decide on that?
Yes. So it's funny because my son was asking, this was a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't tell them that we have this penguin that we're going to be bringing yet. I don't know exactly how we're going to do the unveiling. I guess at some point tomorrow we have to do that. Tomorrow? I don't know what day it is.
Tomorrow, because
But
then you leave the next day.
oh, then I leave the next day. Yes. So, wow, it's right around the corner. So a couple of weeks ago, my son said something to me about how he was going to miss me, and I was like, he's like, I'm going to miss you when you sleep. And I'm like, well, when you sleep, mommy's not near you anyway. You know, I'm in the next bedroom. I was like, you can have my pillow, and you can have an extra stuffy if you want, or whatever you need. And then he's like, can I bring a stuffy to school as well? And we had this conversation. It was like pretty late at night. And I was like, yeah, of course you can take that week, because I don't let them take their stuffies to school. I don't want them to lose them. But I was like, that week you can certainly take a stuffy to school. And this was before I think this was before I even thought of the penguin idea coming with us on our travels. So he already had this kind of idea. And yesterday he asked again about bringing his stuffy to school. And I told him he can. I didn't tell him to like journal about the experiences just yet, because I didn't want to give away the fact that we are going to be doing that with the penguin. So I think the unveiling of this whole, we're all going to have stuffed animals that whole week that we're going to be sharing and experiences with. I think that's going to be the conversation for like tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, that is so fun. Sarah, this has been so cool to just kind of see how you have just changed your mind into a heart set, put your boys and your marriage first, and made this exciting for you in the month of May. And we just can't wait to hear all the fun details of your trip and how the boys just had a blast with, your mom and all the fun, exciting things that you're doing. But I just want to remind you, don't forget to pack on all your to-dos that you haven't.
That's the lowest on my list. I didn't even do laundry yet, but I have crafts going, but laundry, packing, that's like, we'll get to that.
That's tomorrow night. It's fine.
It's fine.
This is great. We can't wait to hear how the trip goes and how, you can just be at ease on vacation with your hubby and just enjoy your 10-year anniversary. So much love to you and the boys, and with our listeners too. Go back and listen to those episodes of surrender, release, to get to this heart center space for you in the difficult times, the emotional times, the sad times. It's a healthier place to be. And that's a great reminder for word of the season, word of the month, to help you through that. Sarah, thanks for sharing that tidbit. That's absolutely amazing. So to our listeners, until next time, wake up and dream.